Welcome everybody, hope you're doing well. Today we're back with another rolling stock review of some Athearn Genesis Rio Grande boxcars. These are 50-foot PC&F exterior post plug door boxcars with the 10-foot 6-inch length doors. Before we go ahead and get started with the review, as always, do me a favor and subscribe if you're new or if you find yourself coming back anyways. Helps me to make a couple dollars, so I really appreciate it. Like the video if you enjoyed as well, and drop me a comment if you found these interesting or have any questions. Love chatting with you guys. But let's go ahead and get started. I've gone ahead and selected road number 61622 for our review purpose here. Here's a quick look at the box. The front here has a nice view window of the car. Nothing here really on the other sides of the car themselves. Got some of that 75th anniversary artwork on these cars since they are just a little bit older. You can go ahead and unbox just like so. Nothing too fancy on these cars. Inside the box, you have a sign up for Athearn news flyer here as usual, and a parts diagram here, which I won't fully unfold, but it's got all of the details in there for you. Go ahead and remove the top. We have some nice soft plastic here, and then we have the model itself. Additionally, there are roller bearing caps, so we do have some spares. You get 2 in a bag for each car. And here is a quick 360 of the car before we take a look at all the details. I did pick these up from Lombard Hobbies' warehouse sale last weekend for $20 each. They do retail for around $50 or so. These are from an older run, and I wasn't able to find really any information at all on them online, so I figured it'd be a cool review to do. And I was also looking for some more rolling stock to run behind my tunnel motors in the Rio Grande scheme, which we'll use in the demo portion as well. So I'm not exactly sure when these were released, but if you do know, please let me know. But I'm sure that it's been quite a while, but I'm still very happy to have these. Moving on to the details on this car, we'll start here on the brake wheel end. We've got a very fancy uncoupling lever here that takes a bend, some very nice tube work down there. That's the fanciest uncoupling lever I think I've seen in quite a while. We do unfortunately still just have a plastic McHenry coupler here. That's one of the downfalls of Athearn Genesis. Wish those would be metal. One day we'll get that. We do have a train line hose here on the right with a silver tipped end, looks pretty nice, as well as an etched metal crossover platform here below the plastic brake wheel and some plastic ladders here on the side. They're a little bit tough to see. No metal grabs on those. It is a completely molded plastic piece that is separately applied. We do also have some very nice white lettering. Of course, we have the car number here at the top, as well as some more information about the wheel size and draft gear on the side, which looks very nice. Moving on now to the side of the car, we've got a very nice array of black print on this car. Looks very nice. Everything is very legible and sharp under magnification. This text here in the corner talks about the ownership of the car through the leasing company. It's hard to pick up on camera. We do have those same plastic ladders here that are separately applied on the ends. In the center, this is our plug door, which does have some separately applied pieces on the sides here, as well as going towards the handle section in the center. That door is appropriately sized. That's the 10-foot 6-inch door on this model. You can also see all of these posts here, which are the exterior post part of the car name, because the inside will be flush, but the outside is not on this car. There's that Action Road scheme in the Rio Grande on the right, as well as the ACI tag and all of the car data on the right, which looks very nice there once again. And here is just a quick look at the other end of the car, pretty much exactly the same as the other end without that brake wheel sitting just here. So we do have the full etched metal platform without any gaps in it. Same data on the side in white as well. And now for a quick look at the other side of the car as well as the roof detail. It's completely flat until this first post here, and then the rib detail starts all the way across the side of the car. That does look very nice. It's a very nice combination with that white roof and orange sides, as well as going to the black ends of the car. So the colors really pop on this car and it looks really nice. Moving on to the underside of the car, we've got a pretty decent layout of details on the bottom here. All of them are plastic. We do have the braking lines all the way through the center here, as well as the reservoir here on this side. Looks pretty nice over there. We do have some extra sprue detail for bracing here around the trucks, and of course those roller bearing caps on the sides. If I go ahead and just rotate the car here, you can see just how far that protrudes off to the bottom of the car. It's a quick look at the other side as well. Pretty much the same, just missing that extra cylinder there. But it looks very nice on the underside here. course, you can see that draft gearbox is pretty exposed just outside the car. Not a big deal, really. But let's go ahead and move on over to the test track and talk more about the performance of the cars. All right, welcome on over to the test track here. These cars are pretty fairly free-rolling, except when it comes to curves. We'll talk about that in just a second here. But they don't have too much of body wobble at all. No issues with that there. The issue on curves, though, is on the brake end side of the car. There's that second pipe detail. See how it's just touching the wheel there at the very top? So the truck wants to spring back away from that plastic piece. It is flexible, so you're not really hurting it much by tapping that, but it does slow down the car on a curve. Even at this 22-inch minimum radius that they recommend on these cars, it doesn't roll super freely around those curves. I've got two of them here coupled up on a curve, and I'll go ahead and move it just out of frame on the right and then give it a light push. And you can hear it sort of grind to a halt. It's not bad, it's just rubbing on that plastic piece on the underside. So if you have a locomotive pulling it, shouldn't be too much of an issue, but any free rolling here on the curves is lost fairly quickly because of that. That's an easy one to trim down. I'll probably just take a scissors or little nippers and cut that just a little bit shorter to make sure that the clearance on the wheel isn't affected, because it's a small detail that I won't miss, but I'd rather have that performance much better on these cars. In terms of looks though, on a curve such as this 22-inch here, here's a quick look at the clearance there. Those long shank draft gearboxes sort of mitigate any touching you might see there. But again, because of that issue with the interference, I'd recommend larger curves if you can with these cars. But let's give you a quick run by of them, pulled by one of my tunnel motors. Well, I hope you enjoyed that run by. Always love running my tunnel motors. And that's the main reason I bought these cars as well, to have more Rio Grande rolling stock I could pull correctly behind those tunnel motors. Really big fan of the Rio Grande and the Action Road paint scheme as well. So I think these were a good pickup. Price was pretty alright on these as well, as they were $20 each once again. MSRP from a few years ago, whenever these did release, was probably around $55, so I'd say it's a pretty decent deal. As far as performance goes, all the wheels were engaged according to my wheel gauge, and all the coupler heights looked good. Once again, they'll be soon replaced with KDs because these are just plastic couplers here, and I prefer them with metal couplers just for reliability and overall performance as well. Unfortunately, the car in front of us here, this 61731, had 3 roller bearing caps popped off in the box when I picked it up, and it's extremely difficult to get them back on. I tried for maybe a half hour or so, still working on it. I got 1 out of the 3 back. Luckily, they do have extras, and the ones that had popped off were in the bag. So I'm not missing any. It's just very tough to get them in. I think I may have to open up the bearings inside just a little bit to make sure they pop on, and then maybe use a drop of glue or so to make sure that they don't then come off the wheels. Other than that, the rest of the details on these cars were in great shape. Everything looks really nice. Print quality is very nice. All of the paint is crisp. So would definitely recommend these if you come across these at your hobby shop, or more likely at a secondhand swap meet or train show. Would definitely recommend picking up some of these. Athearn has done other versions of these cars with different door lengths, as well as versions with smooth sides and not these exterior posts. So there's a lot of variety with this PC&F 50-footer out there. But I'll go ahead and wrap up this review here. Do hope you enjoyed. Thank you very much for watching. If you did make it this far, consider subscribing. Completely free and helps me to make a couple dollars, so really appreciate it. Like the video if you enjoyed as well, and drop me a comment if you had any questions or just want to chat. Love talking with you guys. But thanks for watching, and I hope you have a great rest of your day.